Welcome to Grand Prairie Proud. In part of the series, we're discussing and highlighting Black history in Grand Prairie and celebrating that. And, one of the big highlights of that is being able to talk to somebody as esteemed as our city manager, Bill Hills. So welcome, Bill, to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here. It's nice to know that at this point in time in the year that we can go ahead and move forward and talk a little bit about something that is important to all of us.
Absolutely. So to kind of first kick things off, I know you've had a long history working in public service. How in that time, in your many years of service, have you seen things evolve and change with the African-American community?
Well, it's just to give you an idea, I have been a director in this department since 1993. I came here in 89. So I have watched Grand Prairie grow up around me. And as the African-American community goes, I have been able to be real active in working with folks. The Dalworth community and the Bear Creek or Shady Grove community, whichever one you want to refer to, was one of those areas that I was able to work with extensively as a housing director. I truly enjoyed what I do, but there was a passion that I had for housing. And those were a couple of the areas, as well as Northeast, that needed that attention. And that's where I got my start, insofar as being involved in the community, because in some cases there were some of those people who were just truly icons in the community. Mm-hmm. Your David Daniels, your Sally Moores. These are folks who I actually had the opportunity to work with to build some of the things that we need to build in the community.
That's cool. And so in being in housing, I imagine there's a lot of unique challenges that come with that, with those communities. Like what kind of unique challenges did you have to face and did you overcome with that?
Well, at one point in time, and especially early on in my career, they called me the demo man. Oh. Because I went through the neighborhood, and especially in Dalworth, and mainly in Dalworth, some in Shady Grove, we tore down several houses. Mm-hmm. And I remember so distinctly that I made a promise to Miss Moore. She said, "You're tearing down all these houses. What are you going to do with all these vacant lots?" And we were very successful through different housing programs in tearing down the houses and acquiring the lots. And in turn, we built over 40 houses in the Dalworth community over about a 5 to 6 year period.
Oh, wow. And how have you seen that impact in those areas?
Well, the impact started when we had individual investors who literally came in and they saw the model. And they started building homes. So the Dalworth community has been reborn, has been rebuilt, and now it is a thriving community and a part of our city that I truly think is fantastic. It had some drug problems or what have you at one point in time, but all of that's gone now. It's a beautiful community and a great place to live in Grand Prairie.
That's amazing. And now kind of stepping into the role you have now, I imagine throughout your career, you've had tons of different hats and everything throughout that.
Well, yeah, it's been a different day. I mean, I was the housing director for 25 years.
Oh wow.
And so it's a long time. I had a lot of time to help transform some of our low blighted areas in the town. But it's very interesting. And I know since it's Black History Month, and that's what we're talking about. For almost 16 years, I was the only black director in this city.
Oh, wow.
Which was different, but it really wasn't different because we were on a mission, and we were on a mission as a city to be the best city that we could be. And it was just a joy to work here. I enjoyed it, and that's why I stayed here. And I felt like we were making a difference, especially in the housing arena. And after the housing arena, I was moved to the city manager's office by surprise, actually. I had announced my retirement.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had announced my retirement that August. Yeah. And then Tom Hart asked me if I would consider staying till he left. and moved me into the city manager's office as a deputy city manager. And of course, with all things considered, I was the first black deputy city manager. And I moved into the manager's office. I felt like it was a calling. I'm highly spiritual, and I truly believe that my calling is a calling that I received from our God. And I knew that he was moving in my life. And so I didn't retire. 3 years later, here I was still the deputy city manager, and things happened, and now I'm the city manager. And again, here I am 5 years later from when I was going to first retire. And I'm still working, and I love every day. I truly do, because I believe that you have to make a difference.
Absolutely.
And many times people have asked me, they said, Bill, what does it feel like to be the first black city manager? I said, let me tell you what it feels like. It makes me realize that that is something that was significant. However, what's more significant is I'm the city manager for everyone in this city, and I try to act and conduct myself in that manner. It's truly an honor to have been the first, but at the same time, I have a relationship with the first black city council member. And I've had the opportunity to sit down and have conversations with him. And it's just learning. You never stop learning. But I truly believe that you have a job to do, but it isn't a job. If you enjoy what you're doing and you try to make things as fun as you can, and you try to make people enjoy what they do for a living. And now I'm in a position now where I can try and export that fun a little bit from just me to our entire workforce. And that's where Grand Prairie Proud came from.
Okay, nice. I didn't know what the backstory was for that.
That's the backstory for that.
Very nice. And so, you mentioned also that you've been the first in multiple different arenas. How is that? Was that a challenge? Did you face any kind of challenges with that?
Of course there were challenges. There's several challenges. There's those folks who look at you differently. But one of the things that I truly believe in is this: we're all human beings, and I'm going to treat people how they treat me. You respect me, I'll respect you. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do as human beings. Believe in each other, trust each other, and know that what you're living for is for a higher being. And in this case, I truly believe that my Lord and Savior is guiding my life. And that's why I'm where I am. That's what I'm doing. And I'll continue doing it till I feel like I've been called to either get out of the business or do something else.
Right.
So, and like I say, I love it. I come from a background of public servants. My mother was a public servant. My father was a public servant. And you were talking about first, my father was actually the first black city councilman in the city of El Paso.
Oh, wow.
So I've been exposed to what I'm doing for a living all my life almost. Yeah. So it's been easy in some ways, but in other ways it hasn't. And I felt like it was very important to leave El Paso and make a name for myself based upon my deeds and my actions. And I feel like I have done that here in this community. I've had an impact. Absolutely. And that's what is so important, is live to have an impact. If you don't live to have an impact, what are you living for?
I know you probably have so many, but what's some of your favorite, like a favorite memory you have of?
Some of my favorite memories come from the housing days. I mean, there is no better feeling than when we were able to go through, and either through a partnership with Habitat, which we duplicated and we created our own type of construction program. That feeling that you get when someone who otherwise, without your help, would not become a homeowner, and you're standing there on their front porch in a ceremonial setting, and you hand them the keys, and you see the tears start flowing. Yeah. That is probably the best feeling that I have ever had. And I was able to have that for multiple times. And I was able to just recently, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was able to be a part of one of the people whose home we built early on. Mm-hmm. I was a part of their mortgage burning. Oh. The home was 100% theirs. That's cool. And that's the greatest feeling in the world, when you can sit back and you can see the children that have grown up. Being in the same department for so many years, I watched kids grow up.
How are you kind of taking on kind of leading others, kind of helping others build those, especially kind of those young African-American leaders? And stuff?
Well, as a general rule, I try to mentor the young leadership that comes our way. And I think, Jonathan, I sort of like to take everybody under my wing. I can't fit 1,800 people under my wing, but I do try. And, I feel like being personable and making sure that people realize I am one of you. I have a different responsibility, but I do believe we have a chance with the younger generation that is coming up to have some brilliant African-American leaders, one of which I believe is you.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate that. I'm honored.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Being the city manager has been the joy of my life. It's a lot of work. Yeah. And you have many different facets that you have to deal with. And not only that, but cultures, religions, all of it. But I truly believe that it's a calling. Either you're going to be good at it or you're not. And hopefully I've been pretty good at it.
Absolutely. And that's great. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming in and for taking part of this whole series we're doing. You're such a, inspired leader for all of us. And I'm just very thankful and gracious that you were able to come and do this.
Well, I appreciate it, Jonathan. And it gives me an opportunity to share that Grand Prairie is a city for everyone. Everyone can be what they want to be in Grand Prairie.
That's amazing.
And stay Grand Prairie proud.